We're down here on pit lane. It's a beautiful day here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and I'm with a beautiful person, a good friend of mine, Shelby Blackstock. How much fun are you having here in Wisconsin this weekend?
Oh, it's always a good time to be back up here in Wisconsin. I mean, great racetrack, great town. Good to be here.
So this track is going to lend itself. We've already seen through USF 2000, Pro Mazda, Global MX-5 Cup. You can race here. Where are you coming from on the grid, and do you believe you'll be able to battle with these guys up front?
Yeah, we're starting a little bit further back than we want to. We start in 7th, but yeah, we should be able to race here. Long straights, so it's very easy to get by in the straights, especially with the push to pass that Mazda gives us. So it should be a good race. Shelby
Blackstock driving for Belardi Auto Racing, coming from 7th on the grid in that red number 51 car. Shelby, thanks a bunch.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to talk to Neil Alberico here shortly. Carlin Racing starting P2. Sounds like coming off the front row. So what do you got for the race here today? Round number 8 of the championship.
Yeah, it's just halfway point. So the Carlin guys, my teammates, on pole, so we're both on the front row. So we have a lot of control on the start. So just make it clean.
This track is a lot of fun to race on, it looks like. Are you having fun out there this weekend?
Yeah, Road America is a great place. I'm so glad IndyCar put this place back on the schedule.
You've had a great year this year, knocking out some podium finishes at the beginning of the year at St. Pete. And just so people here at Road America understand, the Mazda Road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires, a very unique ladder system. It's designed to take drivers out of go-karts, produce them through USF 2000, Pro Mazda, and then here where you're at, the Indy Lights Championship. And then should you win the championship this year, you're guaranteed 3 races in the Verizon IndyCar Series next year, one of those being the Indianapolis 500. Just talk about the kind of development system that the Mazda Road to Indy really is.
Yeah, the Mazda scholarship's great. What Mazda and Cooper Tires have done to create the Mazda Road to Indy is huge. It's I've made my entire career off of it. So one step from the top, and we're going to try and get there.
Yeah, you're right. You've run through all 3 of the championships. You hit on the scholarship checks. Mazda writes a check to each champion of the 3 divisions to get them to the next level. It's a pretty unique system. There's really nothing else in the world like the Mazda Road to Indy.
Not at all. I mean, a way you can win your way to the front, win your way to the top echelon of American open wheel racing. There's nothing else like it.
That's the best way to put it, I think. You put a pretty good spin on that. You can win your way to the top of course, being the Verizon IndyCar Series. Neil Alberico starting P2. You've got a great year going here so far. We're right at the halfway point. You're starting P2 for round number 8. Best of luck, and I'm going to use that win your way to the top, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, thanks, Tony.
Neil Alberico with Carlin Racing there on the front row, and he'll be coming from P2 to kick things off today. There you see a live look of our grid. Let's talk really quick to Mateus Leist, as we're going to call drivers to their cars. Mateus, really quickly, we're going to jump in here talking to Elio Castroneves. What's he got to say to you? Any advice? You're coming off a big win at Indy, the Freedom 100. What do you got for him today?
Yeah, of course. He gave me a few advices for the race today. And yeah, we are at a great moment now and really looking forward for this race. And we will try to keep this 1-2 for Carlin.
All right, Mateus Leist again coming off of a huge win at round number 7 on the oval at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Mateus starting on pole next to his teammate Neil Alberico. Mateus, thanks for the time. Good luck. Again, that was Mateus Leist talking to IndyCar veteran and fan favorite Elio Castroneves, giving him a few pointers. We are getting ready to go. Once again, drivers to your cars. Again, we need drivers to your cars. We are getting ready for the Mazda Indy Lights Grand Prix of Road America, presented by Allied Building Products. Round number 8 of the 2017 season. And as our off-pole starter Neil Alberico said, here at the Mazda Road to Indy, you can win your way to the top, literally. The champion of this category at the end of the year, when we get to Watkins Glen, New York, is going to receive the opportunity to run in 3 Verizon IndyCar Series races in 2018. So once again, folks, it's round number 8. It's the Mazda Indy Lights Grand Prix of Road America, presented by Allied Building Products. We are getting ready to go racing here at Road America.
Rob, talented, fast race car drivers littered throughout this field front to back. This is going to be a good one.
Such a tight field, Nick. Just great drivers from top to bottom, very tight. One of the parts of the racetrack that they are very concerned with, and I talked to, was down in turn 14. We've seen a number of issues there. There's a transition coming between old pavement to new pavement. Less grip over to more grip. There's a bump coming in there as well. A lot of drivers having a bit of trouble when they're turning in. The car's starting to rotate as those front tires grab so quickly. And again, that's a part of the racetrack that we need to be watching today.
Appreciate it. All those voices, you're going to hear them describe this race here at Road America. Those 14 drivers lined up in 7 rows of 2. A pair of teammates on the front row. They're going to accelerate right away out of turn 14. Leist is going to grab the lead Alberico's going to duck behind. Now Alberico's going to pop to the outside. Kind of a disjointed start, Michael Young, as they head to turn 1 for the first time.
And Ryan Norman is the driver who really steps out of line. He makes it too wide as he swings to the outside of Neil Alberico. Actually makes contact with Alberico's front wing. So Neil Alberico dropping back about 6 car lengths and then back clean through turn number 1.
Well, we continue to wait under that Sargento Bridge before we see this field of 14 make their way down the Moraine sweep. It's interesting to see exactly where Matthias Lace is going to end up. The gap between he and the rest of the field. Now we see Lace as he makes his way downhill back through. There's Norman. There's the 18 of Kyle Kaiser. Then the number 5 of Santi Arruzia. Arruzia perhaps a big winner on that start. Jake Wary.
So it appears as though Laced the winner at the outset because the trouble was behind him. It was Alberico, of course, who was the loser in that start. Matthias Laced now works his way into the carousel. Norman is about 2 car lengths behind him. And then Kyle Kaiser. Everybody essentially single file as they work their way through. Just as I say that, 1 car on the move, that's Juan Pedrejita taking up a spot. He will lock himself into the 6th position. But Matthias Lace now leaving the carousel starts to extend over Ryan Norman.
Davey Hamilton opening lap, and you can tell how much these drivers know that they have to get positions on the opening lap because they were running wheel to wheel, lots of contact throughout the field.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake, obviously, on that start. He just tried to defend a little bit too much, shot in, but Norman did the right thing. They left that outside lane open. He took it, had momentum, that draft helped him. He pulled out, finds himself in that 2nd position. Unfortunately, Alberico finds himself in that 5th or 6th position, either farther back. Then we see some fighting with Pedrejita and Blackstock. They're getting after him pretty close as well.
Great run for Ryan Norman after a disappointing run in Indianapolis, the Freedom 100. He's got his hands full, though, Michael Young. Good battle for 2nd.
Wind very gusty down here in turn number 1. A tree line will keep these drivers from feeling that wind until they get to turn number 1. Nice passes. Kyle Kaiser swings to the outside of Ryan Norman. Santi Arruzia in that 4th position. So a good run for Santi Arruzia. That young man starting in the back of the field for race number 2. But for Arruzia in this race number 1, a good start thus far as he moving himself up to the top 5 thus far. So they're down through turn number 3. They now work through turn number 4 to the eyes of Dave First.
Yeah, Santi Arruzia started 10th but is on the move. How about 3 wide now through turn 5? Arruzia takes 2nd position here at Road America. Santi Arruzia is on a charge here at Elkhart Lake. Jake Wary.
Santi Arruzia now will have to set his sights on the leader. That is Matthias Lace. As Lace gets ready to work his way here into the carousel, he has a comfortable advantage. As a matter of fact, it's about 8 car lengths. Lace keeps the car fairly low as he enters his way through turn number 8. Then it's Arruzia, Kaiser, and Norman. Lace, though, really starting to extend that elevation change, that long rolling sweep. It's as if he's going downhill. That breeze he's running into not affecting Matthias Lace at this point.
Davey Hamilton, go ahead and shut the competition down for pass of the year. I don't know if you're going to top what we just saw from Santi Arruzia.
You know, I know that Royal Purple does the slickest move of the race. And I think that he may get that. He went from 4th to 2nd that one corner. Them guys were fighting on the outside that saying that was Norman and Kaiser. And while he was just even by both. Let's see you later.
What a pass for Santi Arruzia to move into the 2nd position as Dave First called it. Taking 2 spots in 1 corner. Now they're in turn number 5 as they went 3 wide. What that has allowed, though, for the leader, Michael Young, Matthias Lace, he stretched the gap out as we complete lap number 2. The gap back to Santi Arruzia is 1.8 seconds.
Now Matthias Lace is going to go all day long. Santi Arruzia will have his hands full now of Kyle Kaiser. Only 2 car lengths separate them. It's Ryan Norman, Nico Jamin, Dalton Mellon. They are your top 6. We saw in qualification Santi Arruzia changing the ride height of that car. Hopefully that's what's making him so quick thus far in the early portion of this race. Whatever they did, they made the right call.
Let's go to pit lane and check in with Rob Howden.
Just a couple of quick notes here, guys, listening on the radio from Carlin Racing. They've told Matthias Lace, just stay focused, do what you're doing. They have now enabled the push to pass as we're past on the first couple of laps, but he is outside the push to pass window. So Matthias has done exactly what he needs to do, and that's get out away from everyone. Push to pass no longer in effect, he can just run away.
Boy, we've got cars starting left and right, trying to make their way through turn 5 and back up the hill to turn 6. It looks like Juan Pedrejita got a little sideways. Jake, the leader, is checked out from about 6th or 7th on back. They are nose seconds.
Pedro Hina is running in the 8th position, and he sees cars spanning all over the place behind him, but again, nobody able to make the move because it essentially goes into a single groove when you enter turn number 8. Now you can try to swing it to the outside, but once you get into that carousel, that inertia just starts to push you up just a little bit. Everybody now single file this time through.
Maybe we saw Nico Germain in that 27 car try to jump to the outside of Ryan Norman. That's tough to do in turn 5.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of open there. I mean, gives it a try. Tries to get that track position. That's not quite up. You see Cole Herta on the outside right now trying to make a move. Just goes out too wide. Doesn't get it done.
Yeah, went to the outside of Nico DePero, the driver for Yukos Racing, trying to get to the outside of Canada Corner. That's another spot where, yeah, there's racetrack to the outside, but boy, it certainly funnels down into the corner, at the exit of the corner. And for Herta, we know he's got a fast car, but certainly for him to pick his way through the field, that is a whole other task.
A lot of dirty air out there behind him, in front of him. So it's own. How about that for the lead? Is that for lead or second?
That's for second. Michael Young. Kyle Kaiser looking pretty strong here.
Indeed, Kyle Kaiser got the move to the inside. He and Santia Urrutia battled to about the 100-foot spot. Now Santia Urrutia able to battle back. He goes back to the second spot, Dave first.
Matthias Lace with the big lead. He maintains that, probably getting a good eye at what's going on behind him as Urrutia and Kaiser battle for second position. Right now it belongs to Urrutia. Kaiser falling well back. Norman picks up 3rd place. Now it's Kaiser in 4th.
It is very picturesque in this area where Lace is about to approach. Again, it's the carousel area. When he comes into it, he takes a left-hander and goes underneath the Speedmill Bridge. If you were a pedestrian or were to walk over it, it would take you to the paddock area. But rather to the right, it is a large camping area. That large camping area, essentially the infield of this large half moon. Matthias Lace works it absolutely perfectly. He starts to extend his lead now over Urrutia as they leave the carousel.
David, we just saw a replay of that pass by Kaiser and then the pass back by Santia Urrutia. That's great racing.
Great racing, and I'll tell you what, Kaiser was being kind to him. He got by him going down the front straightaway into turn 1, but left that outside lane open, didn't move out there to get a better angle of the corner. But what happened to him, and it left Urrutia with a momentum coming off and got back by him, but great racing.
Matthias Lace is the leader. How about an update on second place running Santia Urrutia from Ryan Marine?
Well, he's driving with some desperation, guys, because last year's runner-up in the series has really not had the start to this 2017 campaign that he would have hoped for. A 13th in the first race at St. Pete, follow that up with a second in the second race at St. Pete, but only has been on the podium once since then. So without a doubt, he's a guy who's poised to try and have a good, solid finish to the season and replicate the success he had a year ago. Keep in mind, he did win one of these races here at Road America last year, so Santia Urrutia, expect him to be in the mix both today and also in the second race of the weekend tomorrow.
Fastest lap of the race just turned by the 11th place running Nico DePero. Up front though, Dave first, Matthias Lace gap back to Santia Urrutia is 2.6 seconds.
It's not closing in at all either as Lace makes his way through turn 5. Then it's the 5 of Urrutia. Then it's Kaiser. Further back, Juan Piedrahita. A good battle between DePero and the number 9 as well. Still, it's amazing. Colton Herman will start from pole tomorrow. He's having a hard time making his way through the field here this afternoon. Colton Herman started 13th. He's now at 10th.
Looks like that gap between Urrutia and Lace might have shrunk just a little bit. Norman and Kaiser are also right there, keeping Urrutia within sight. But Lace, once they get to the bottom of the carousel, that seems to be the area where that machine starts to pick up just a little bit. Because again, sizable gap, now about 12 car lengths leaving the carousel area.
Pretty good battle for third as Ryan Norman has that spot, and the points leader, Kyle Kaiser, all over the rear wing. Here they come down that Kettle Bottoms back straightaway towards Canada Corner. And Kaiser's going to take a look to the inside of Ryan Norman. Not enough of a run, though. That's going to allow Nico Germain to close right up Davey on that rear wing.
Yeah, you know, he's making these gambles, and sometimes you lose momentum, and the guy behind you is carrying it. That's how he ends up really in 4th place right now. He's challenging for second.
So Kyle Kaiser smokes that right front tire a little bit going through turn 14. Back up the hill come the leaders. First it's Matthias Lace, then it's Santia Urrutia, but Michael Young, good battle for third. Here comes Kyle Kaiser to the outside.
Kyle Kaiser trying to make the move around Ryan Norman. They are nose to nose. as Kyle Kaiser now makes the pass around Ryan Norman. Nice move for him as they make their way around the Princess Grand Tunnel. Further back is Colton Herta. He finally got around Zachary Clayton DeMello. It has changed so much since the beginning of this race, guys. The wind is now coming from the east to the west on the front straightaway. It's some right square in the face going into turn number 1, and then they run down through those tunnel of trees back to Dave Burns. It is a hands-full type of day for these Indy Lights drivers.
Yeah, Matthias Lace looks like he's on a qualifying run. He's all by himself. Then Arruti, and then further back, Kaiser with the move there around Norman. That's the battle for third. Further back, Colton Hurd is still dealing with some of the back markers. No, he's not moving up anywhere so far, Jake Ware.
So now the story to watch is that of Norman trying to get that spot back on Kaiser. That's because Urrutia still has a sizable gap back. As a matter of fact, Delton Kellett just got around Ryan Norman as they come into view. Shelby Blackstock will try to be the next to do that. So you wonder if perhaps there's not a problem, because within the last circuit, Ryan Norman came through in the third spot, went through a little bit of the grassy area, and now all of a sudden finds himself in sixth.
Yeah, and Davey, to Jake's credit, he can't see what we just saw, which was Ryan Norman. Lap 5 is going to be a forgettable one down that straightaway.
Yeah, he got overtaken and just went too wide on that corner. Got 2 wheels in the grass, which sucked him off completely off the track. 4 wheels in the grass, had to completely empty it, controlling back on the track, so he set him back.
Yeah, as you mentioned, he got freight trained by Nico Jamin, and then Dalton Kellett took that 5th spot down to turn number 5, and now Ryan Norman trying to gather it back up as the Shelby Blackstock machine. He gets a little bit sideways. Blackstock was trying to run down Norman, and now Michael Young, he's got his hands full of Juan Pedro Hita, slips by Blackstock to the 7th position.
Yeah, Juan Pedro Hita now Shelby Blackstock starting to look on the outside. Battle between Kellett and Ryan Norman. There's Pedro Hita, Blackstock, and the Neil Alberico machine. Immediately following them, Nico Romero, but they have sprung themselves out just a little bit. But for Matthias Lace, since the start of this race, he has done nothing but check out from the rest of the field. A fantastic run for that young Brazilian.
Yeah, I would argue that that gap is widening just a bit as Matthias Lace continues to take control of this field. Arrutia, Kaiser, then further back, it's the 27 of Nico Jamin, and then further back, good battle towards the rear end, Jake Query. I'm going to say that's a battle perhaps for 9th coming your way here in North America.
And right now, the battle that is the most interesting to watch for me is that up front, because Matthias Lace has a sizable gap. That battle that you're talking about a little bit further back in the pack starting to take form a little bit more clearly. That's Shelby Blackstock. Blackstock has right on his heels the machine, one of those racing machines, as a matter of fact. But let me ask you this, Davey. These Indy Lights cars do not have necessarily the overall weight, of course, the Verizon IndyCar Series machines. There's a very steady wind that whips here in the carousel area and is coming at you as you enter the carousel. With these Indy Lights cars, are they just light enough that that wind plays with you, or do you not feel it so much in the car?
Yeah, I don't think you feel that much. I mean, I know it gets breezy down there for sure, and it can affect your lap time, but I don't think it affects the cars that much. These cars still are light, as you said, still have a lot of tire, a lot of downforce on them, Jake, so it could affect them slightly, but what affects them worst is all that dirty air in front of them that they're following these cars in. That generates way more dirty air and rougher on your car than just the wind itself.
We've completed 6 of the 20 laps, just starting lap number 7 here from Road America. This is the Indy Lights Series presented by Cooper Tires and Advanced Auto Parts. IndyCar Radio Network. There's a quick rundown. It is Matthias Lace, the Carlin Racing pilot from Brazil. He is your leader. Uruguay's Salvador driving Audi Racing with a good second place run right now. Kyle Kaiser is your points leader. He comes into this weekend looking to continue to lead that points battle. He's running in 3rd. Nico Jamin is 4th. Dalton Kellett is 5th. Ryan Norman runs in 6th. Juan Pedro Hita is 7th. Neil Alberico is 8th. Shelby Blackstock runs in 9th. Aaron Tielitz is 10th. Nico DePero is 11th. Colton Herta looks like he just got around Zachary Clayton DeMello. They're still battling wheel to wheel as Herta locks him up at the top of the hill. That'll kick Clayton DeMello back to 13th. Garth Rickards to 14th. Maybe for Colton Herta, the second generation driver, we know he's got a fast car. Showed up this morning in qualifying for race 2 and put it on the pole. But man, it really a testament to the talent level of this field that he's not able to march through.
Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely part of it. One thing that you know when he goes out and set that lap, we've seen that with Colton before. When out front, and he's been just a bullet. Unbelievable fast and untouchable. But he got sent to the back in the Grand Prix in Indy as well, and couldn't make up that ground. And we kind of sit here, but in defense to Colton, he's a great race driver. He can drive in traffic, he can drive anywhere. The car seems just a little bit free on the exit track. They just can't get the power down. I see the back of that car swinging around, and they're fighting back there right now.
Yeah, this is a battle for the 12th position, and you're right, they are both sliding those cars around the racetrack. Clement DeMello looking for every lane and groove he can find to maybe get a run on Herta. Herta's car steps out at the exit of turn number 14. They'll charge back up the hill. Michael Young, those leaders are already past you. Keep an eye, though, further back this battle for 12 as Herta's trying to hold off Zachary DeMello.
There goes the tail, and now makes a move to the inside to Zachary Clement DeMello. He darts down and is able to make the pass around Colton Herta. He'll let it swing wide to the outside of turn number 1. They sweep across the tunnel. He brings a Stratton tunnel 2 through number 3 and down to turn 4 and 5 to Dave first.
Yeah, it looks like Garth Rickards also made up a couple of positions getting around Herta, so putting Garth Rickards to 13th, and it's hard to believe the pole winner for tomorrow's race is now dead last in this race. Too wide between the 31 of DePero and the 51 of Shelby Blackstock, and now that you see the 98 finally, Colton Herta, he's still hanging on to 13th here in Road America.
That's the thing about racing, Dave, that we just never know. Sometimes you chase the track, sometimes the track chases you. Colton Herta seems to have been able to have experienced both ends of that spectrum so far in his very brief Indy Lights career. Matthias Leist has been one who has had the track firmly in his control so far today. He now has about an 18-car length lead out of the carousel.
David, this is a lot of fun for those joining us online with the streaming video. Watching the tail end of these race cars kick out at the exit of the corners. It looks like everybody's hanging on for dear life.
You know, that's one thing. This course is so fast in these corners as well. Not heavy hitter. Time in the corners. That happens. Get the bounce right. Sometimes you lose a little grip coming off, and it's impressive fun for sure. And you look at the field, from second all the way back to 14th is very tight. I mean, they're not nose and tail, but there's only a couple car lengths in between them. License, he's gone. I mean, he's checked out right now.
Yeah, he's awful quick. Matthias Leist, the Brazilian, completes lap number 8. His gap back to Santi Urrutia is 3.6 seconds. Pretty good battle shaping up, though, for second as Santi Urrutia's got that spot. Kyle Kaiser trying to run him down as they head down to the bottom of the hill of turn number 3. Urrutia for Velarde Auto Racing, Kaiser for Yokos Racing. Two teams that expect to be racing in the IndyCar Series very soon. But Dave, first, those two cars kind of looking like one heading to you. Good battle for second.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing the last time around. It looked like Kaiser, after he'd settled down after losing the spot earlier in this race, and gathered things up and is now making a play on Santi Urrutia. He is about a car length and a half away from Urrutia. Heading your way, Jake.
I think sometimes we have a tendency as broadcasters to expect early in a race that somebody's car is going away or there's an issue when there's a change for position. In reality, sometimes both cars are equal, and it's just a matter of drivers trying to feel out the aerodynamics. Not sure which is the case and which is applicable here between Urrutia and Kaiser, but right now Urrutia has about a 3-car length advantage over Kyle Kaiser. That, of course, rounding out the podium because the leader, Matthias Leist, is already through the carousel area.
Top 5, it's Leist, Urrutia, Kaiser, Jamin, and now Ryan Norman, who we just saw get around Dalton Kellett heading down to turn 5 as we are nearing the halfway point here in Road America. It's with Pit Lane for an interview with Bob Howden.
Yeah, Nick standing down here right now with Colin Hale. Colin, we've watched what Matthias Leist has done since essentially the IndyCar GP. He's had the fastest lap of the race in race 1, got his first podium in race 2. Have you been able to perceive maybe a change in this young man now knowing that he has the confidence and ability to get the job done?
Yeah, absolutely. I think since Indy in the month of May, he's just really focused on working with the team and what he needs to do to get the best out of the car. And I think he's just got a much better understanding of the tyres and the car and learning the circuits quicker and just really rate of improvement is much faster.
Has there been some input on this racetrack as well? I know he said this was kind of like Spa, this is more of a track that he was used to.
He had a difficult test here. It takes a long time to learn the circuit just because it's so long. But I think he just regrouped after the test and came back and nailed it in qualifying yesterday.
Well done for him and well done for you as well.
Thank you very much.
I'll tell you, Nick, this car Carlin team looking very good up front here now, but this Matheus Leist, this young Brazilian, is really starting to show what he is made of. Of course, British Formula 3 champion last year, but when he starts getting the confidence and the real belief in himself that he can get the job done here, we may be looking at a definite title contender.
And Davey, we shouldn't be surprised by that. Those dark blue Navy Carlin racing machines, they've been fast every year since they've come to the States a few years ago to compete in Indy Lights competition. While it's been tough in the early parts of the season as some of their young drivers new to the series kind of get their foot into these race cars, we know Trevor Carlin and all those guys have an eye for talent. They've had a lot of IndyCar drivers. Will Power, Takuma Sato, Jack Harvey, all these guys that have raced for Trevor Carlin over the years. Not surprised to see guys like Matheus Leist after about half of the season really start to finish.
He's real, no question about it. He's showing it. I mean, he's racking up the weights. He's going after the championship. He's with a proper team, confidence there. So Leist is the guy right now. He's really the guy to kind of put it down. Now his teammate, Albrico, who's also very talented, just made one mistake. That one mistake cost him almost 6 positions, right? Finds himself in 8th right now. So pretty interesting. You make that one mistake early on, and that's how hard it is to pass these guys back. Also, just watching some in-car camera hands of Taylor's going through turn 11 and 10, 11, that area. You see just a lot of oversteer here. Super fast work, but he's just hanging on.
Yeah, he's trying to hold off Michael Young, Zachary Clayman DeMello. That's a good battle for 11th at the turn 1.
Another nice battle, that Pedrohita battle with Dalton Kellett. Pedrohita able to get around. Actually, Ryan Norman got around a couple of laps. Now Pedrohita back around. Tila Zing, Clayman DeMello. At about a 3-car length battle as they go across the Briggs and Stratton Tunnel. Everything else settling out. But as we had talked about, Colton Herter just kind of settled back into the back of that pack, running in that 13th position. Surprise at our pole center for tomorrow. Not able to find himself in the front of the field.
Kyle Kaiser took a look to the inside of the number 5 of Santi Urrutia as he tries to push for that second position. That thing has reheated, I would say, Jake Query, that battle for the second position.
Another thing that would seem to be heated right about now at this point in the track, certainly not the battle for the lead because Leist has a sizable one, but yes, Kaiser is right there on Urrutia. As a matter of fact, any mistake by Santi Urrutia, Kaiser's going to be able to make a move, but Urrutia is holding him off. But the other thing that's interesting to watch at this point or take note of, keep in mind the series here at Road America this weekend, the Pirelli World Challenge, the Verizon IndyCar Series, these Indy Lights presented by Cooper Tires, the Mazda MX-5 with BF Goodrich tires. That's a lot of different rubber compounds, Davey, laid down on this track, and you would think as these Cooper tires start to blend in just a little bit, that's essentially a different form of rubber soup these guys are driving on.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. As remember at qualifying, they were running laps almost at the 151, 152 flat. So right now, the fastest laps are 154.7. I see the 6 up there at one point. Most of them in the 155, so you're talking 3 seconds difference. So the grip level from the, as you just said, the different rubber down, a little more heat of the day, and wearing the tires out a little bit just changes these cars so drastically. But the balance can change too from the different compounds.
And of course, as the race goes on, that track gets rubbered in even thinner on the tire compounds they have on this racetrack. Those cars are going to try to get better lap after lap.
Lap after lap, you know, it's a catch-22. Their rubber's going to lay down, it's going to get more grip, but at the same time, they're also wearing down, getting heat in them. But the fuel load's coming down too, so it should equalize out. Now, these laps have been really, really consistent, but the big lead right now, he's just that out there is so fun.
Good battle side by side. Day first, Kellen Albarico into turn 5.
And move Kellen around Albarico as he takes the inside line, and now Albarico gets back around it there. So move Albarico his spot as he heads your way, Jake.
Leaders already entering the carousel area. The front 3, as a matter of fact, have done exactly that. Then it is Japan, then Norman. You'll wait a little bit before Pedrohita. That battle's a good one. As a matter of fact, when you have Dalton Kellett right there and still trying to work his way around, it seems as though DePero is right there with him. Dalton Kellett's had a very, very busy day. A guy so far who necessarily has not Matheus Leist. That's not to say he's working hard or he's not working hard, but Matheus Leist looks like he's on cruise control at this point.
After Albarico cleared Kellett to grab the 7th position, Kellett's got his hands full with Nico DePero, the Yukos Racing driver, who's starting to run him down in the corner. They make their way through turn 12. DePero locks him up down there at the bottom of the hill as these drivers are moving all over the racetrack. 7th position. All eyes look further back as Dalton Kellett leads that train down towards turn number 1. Michael Young, he's got the 8th position, but Nico DePero starting to run him down as a shovel flag stop.
A nice call on that, Neil Alberico. He comes from turn number 1, and that left front wing is dragging, and it's Kellett, Nico DePero, and then the machine of Shelby Blackstock. Back into that Tielen's machine as he is in that battle with Zachary Clayton DeBello. That amounted to car length advantage for Blackstock over Zachary Clayton DeBello.
Yeah, I remember Dalton Kellett a year ago here at beautiful Road America had all sorts of issues as he was just trying to get his feet underneath him and learn this track and learn the series as well. As we see the 27 of Nico Germain make up a spot here in turn 5 as well. Double wide, 3 wide as Nico DePero makes up a spot as well. But Dalton Kellett perhaps, losing some of that tire grip here at Road America. That's affecting his race so far.
Urrutia might be losing that grip for second. Kyle Kaiser is right there on him. You start to really pay attention to that battle, notably because Laced is so much putting it in his hip pocket. But Urrutia takes a wide swing at the bottom of the carousel. Kaiser trying to take a little more midline. Now about a 4-car length separation between the two.
Laced, Urrutia, Kaiser, Jamin, and Norman. Actually make that Norman and Jamin as Ryan Norman grabbed that 4th spot from Jamin. That's how they run the top 5. Let's get a report from Rob Houghton on pit lane here at Road America.
Yeah, an interesting thing about Ryan Norman is, of course, we were watching him as a rookie here in the Indy Lights program. He was not part of the Mazda Road to Indy before this year. Did not run USF 2000, didn't run Pro Mazda, but instead came through the Formula E and SCCA competition and then the Atlantic Championship. For Ryan, this is actually the very first track on the schedule this year where he has actually raced before. He was able to test at Barber, but he had never raced at any of the tracks we've been on thus far in 2017. He's raced here in the FE, he's raced here in the Atlantic Championship, and I think really starting to play to the comfort level of this young driver showing. Nick, he's running second within the Andretti drivers, and the guy just in front of him, Nico Germain, a USF 2000 champion, multi-time winner in Pro Mazda. I think Ryan Norman's really showing well within that very talented stacked Andretti team, currently running P5.
Yeah, those two have been slugging it out. Jamin now does hold down that 4th position for now, but Ryan Norman's been looking awful racy. Juan Pedrohita is creeping up into that battle as well. Those 3 cars, Dave, first led by Nico Jamin, headed to turn 5.
Making their way through turn 5, and then further back we see the 27 and Jermaine hanging on to that. Juan Pedrohita's trying to make a play in that position as well. 2 wide further back, Aaron Tielen's in the 13 of Zachary Clayton DeMello, and here comes Colton Herta in that mix as well. So a battle further back here, Jake Query.
Interesting to watch, is it not, Dave, when you look further back in the field and you see those drivers that realize that every position, every point is of importance. Right now, Jamin, I'm taking a look at that, with behind him Norman, and then waiting a little bit, it's Pedrohita. That trio working their way at the bottom of the carousel area here, and they're not able to make up any ground on one another, so the spacing stays the same. But that seems to change each time through. So too does the wind, which is now very, very substantial coming into the face of drivers as they work their way through.
Jake brings up a great point, Davey. I mean, every point matters. We're watching Aaron Tielen's and Colton Herta battle. That's actually for the 12th position right now. Those were our 2 winners at St. Petersburg. They're expected to win championships.
Isn't that amazing? Right now, it shows at 5 points apart from each other, but they're now 4th and 5th position in the championship. It's so key. I mean, they all want to win the championship as well, but when the season started, the first race, we thought these 2 guys, wow, they're both amazing. They're going to be towards the front every time. Kind of struggle. I mean, they're not struggling, but they're back.
Michael Young, how about a good battle for 4th headed to you in turn 1?
And Ryan Norman makes a move around Nico Jamin. Nice pass. Juan Pedrohita all over the rear wing of Jamin now. Neil Alberico still struggling with that front wing, and that wind has now shifted and it came from the west at the beginning of this race, now coming from the south. So certainly that Neil Alberico machine could be suffering from understeer. Dave first.
Matthias Lace makes his way through turn 5, and then you gotta wait forever before you see the 2nd place machine of Santi Urrutia, then the 18 and the points leader of Kyle Kaiser, 2 wide, Norman and the 27 of Jamin. They're battling back and forth. 2 wide now as Pedrohita makes his way. So move Pedrohita up as they make their way through turn 6.
And a local in turn number 3 for an issue with Garth Rickards. We're watching Juan Pedrojito and Nico Jamin, though. Jake Query, they went wheel to wheel at the top of the hill in turn 6.
Pedrojito got the best of that battle. Now tries to work his way in on Ryan Norman. You want to talk about a guy that's had one of those days where he has to be looking at the lap count thinking, I've had more action today than I have probably in the last 2 races combined. Seems like Norman has had all kinds of action today. Now, when he worked his way through the carousel, that black and orange machine got just a little bit loose, so perhaps Pedrojito gonna keep an eye on that and see if Norman's not losing some grip. Speaking of Juan Pedrojito, here's a report, Rob.
Yeah, what a fantastic run, Jake, so far from Juan Pedrojito. I just think it's interesting to note that with the juggernaut teams we have at Andretti and Carlin, 4 drivers, and of course 3 drivers at Velarde Auto Racing, here's this lone Colombian running for Team Pelfrey. Remember, they had Pato Ward, one of the top Pro Mazda drivers of last year, in the car earlier this year, but here he is running all by himself, 1 stream of data, and here he is now running into the top 5. I think Juan Pedrojito's doing a fantastic job, Nick Yeoman, in that single car effort.
Yeah, that's a great tip of the cap, Rob Houghton. And Davey, as we talked about, what guys like Tielitz and Herta, who expect to be up front, are having bad days. Guys like Ryan Norman, Juan Pedrojito, we're not used to seeing them running up in the top 5. Those two are both out.
The great thing with that is just mentioned, the single car team is very, very difficult. That's a very good team as well. They've been around a long time. They know their business for sure. But it does help. And these guys right now, I think it's part of the season. Getting that confidence. Confidence means so much. And some of the guys maybe we've seen running in the back, they're gaining speed. Roberta and Tielitz came out on fire. Maybe these guys are just catching up with them. Just get some confidence and running strong.
16 laps in the books, 4 to go here at Road America. This is the Indy Light Series presented by Cooper Tires on the Advanced Auto Parts IndyCar Radio Network. Mateus Lace has flat out dominated. He's led every single lap so far. His lead over second place running Santi Urrutia is a full even 5 seconds. Urrutia's gap back to Kaiser is just 9/10 of a second. So the battle for second has been pretty good. Ryan Norman is moving to the 4th position. Juan Pedrojito runs 5th. Nico Jamin runs in the 6th position. Neil Alberico with that damaged front wing is soldiering on right now in the 7th position. He's holding off for now Nico DePero in the 8th spot. Shelby Blackstock runs 9th. Dalton Kellen is in the 10th position. Zachary Clayman DeMello runs in 11th. Not having a great day so far, running in 12th. Of course, it's a doubleheader weekend though, so all these drivers that do have bad days going to have a chance to rebound. Colton Herta is certainly one of them. Davey, he runs in 13th, and Garth Rickards, who had the off moments ago, running in 14th. That's the good news about these doubleheader weekends. Is you have a rough day, you lose some points, you get to come back and do it all again tomorrow.
Well, knowing that Colton Herta had trouble in the first practice when they get on the track, struggled when he qualifying for this race, and then was on the pole for the next one, I would have bet a lot of money that he was going to move up quite a bit in this race, and unfortunately he hasn't, so I'm glad I didn't make any bets on that.
How about these race cars, Rob Houghton? They're all powered by Mazda engines, and one of the guys at the top of the food chain that loves coming to the racetrack every weekend is John Doonan. He oversees that program, and he's standing by with the one pit lane.
I've had John standing beside me for a while, Nick, but this racing was too good to almost pull away from. John, there's something about Road America that just plays to great racing, and every time you come here, I know you see a ton of Mazda cars, whether it's the SCCA June Sprints, whatever it may be. You've got full field of the next 5 Cup cars here this weekend, and a full Mazda Road to Indy, man. Just amazing racing at this track.
This facility means a great deal to me and my family. I've been coming here since I was 6 weeks old, down in turn 5. And having so many Mazdas here, it's just another one of those weekends. More Mazdas road race than any given weekend than any other brand. I'm thrilled with the action here in Indy Lights. It's continued to be great racing and a great training ground for the Verizon IndyCar Series. Now we got MX-5 Cup with IndyCar. This is a special weekend for us. Close to 80 Mazdas racing here.
And one of the tremendous things, too, the 4th Verizon IndyCar Series event here this weekend, you're going to see Ed Jones, you're going to see Spencer Piggott, these drivers who have came out of these programs. But not only are you pushing drivers out of the open wheel program, but you're also pushing guys out of the sports car program as well, and sports car racing and prototype racing. It's just tremendous.
Well, the Mazda Road to Indy, nothing like it in the world, and we hope to continue to develop the Mazda Road to 24 in the same fashion, giving everybody a chance from around the world to grow their career in a Mazda or a Mazda powered car.
John, thank you so much.
Thanks, Rob.
Incredible job there by John Doonan and the whole staff. Nick Gilman, you know it. These guys are getting the job done, and Mazda's totally behind the youth here in motorsports.
Did John Doonan say he's been coming here since he was 6 months old? Maybe that's how you make a race, man.
Yeah, no, he's done a great job. I mean, Mazda's out there. We know who they are. We know the support they have for racing, and for a fact, how many drivers that have made it to the next level have came to Mazda.
Of course, they've got a hospitality area down there in turn 5 where Dave First is positioned. I'll be out there for the IndyCar race. It's a great vantage point. That battle for second with about a lap and a half to go is tightening up as Santi Urruti has got that spot, but the points leader, Kyle Kaiser, is closing in. Jake Query with just a lap and a half to go. Mateus Lace is flat gone, but second still up in the air.
And they take that right-handed turn coming towards me, and literally, and I say this a lot sometimes, but it looks like one car coming into view. The sun really dances off that gold that is the top of the machine of Santi Urrutia, but then right behind him in the, if you will, the shadow is Kyle Kaiser. Now, at the exit of the carousel, that's where Urrutia manages to get himself a little more horsepower. He gets himself perhaps about another 10 yards over Kaiser.
Yeah, Urrutia's got that car just stuck to the racetrack through the carousel. And Davey, that takes you through Kettle Bottoms, that back straightaway that has the kink down to Canada Corner. When you can get a good run through the carousel, it makes all the difference.
Yeah, without a doubt, and you can even see him exiting Canada Corner right now. Just, you know, when Urrutia's car is just solid down, and you look at the camera going back, Kaiser just that back end just fishing around that little bit, just losing a little bit of track.
White flag is out here at Road America for Mateus Lace as he streaks underneath the flag stand. And Michael Young, one final time for the Brazilian around Road America.
That's not how you start, it's how you finish. Really caught fire in Barber, and then it was amazing in Indianapolis. Then cut third, and then the win to the Freedom 100. Santi Urrutia and Kyle Kaiser, that battle for second, about 3 car lengths. Then it's Ryan Norman and Juan Pedrahita. Other than that, the rest of the cars strung out. But today, the day, Mateus Lace has got this baby nearly in the bag as he makes his way down to turn 5.
I asked Mateus Lace this morning, I said, what's your favorite oval in this series? And well, without questions, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Well, guess what? About a month ago, he won there. I said, what's your favorite road course? He shook his head. Without question, it is Road America. Imagine this 19-year-old from Brazil sweeping his 2 favorite road courses, race tracks, I should say, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and right here at Road America, he's on his way right now, Jake Query.
Dave, to your point, back in the days at WRTV working together, so many drivers you and I talked about their affinity for Road America, and certainly no driver in this Indy Lights program right now must like it more than Mateus Lace. Typically, we see fans waving hats and caps. It's the grass, the high grass, that waves in the wind as Mateus Lace goes through the carousel for the final time.
Couple problems for drivers here on this final lap. Nico DePero took his car to pit lane, and Davey Hamilton. We also saw Colton Herta spin as well. So tough breaks for those drivers. They were running towards the back of the pack.
Yeah, they were 12th and 13th, and now Herta is going to end up 12th, it looks like, and DePero will end up 14th at this point.
So tough breaks for both of those drivers at the end of this race. No tough breaks and no break at all really for Mateus Lace. A month off after winning the Freedom 100. He shows up to Road America, charges up the final front straightaway, and across the start-finish line, the Brazilian will win here at Road America in race number 1. How about that battle for second? Urrutia and Kaiser, they'll go side by side across the start-finish line. Urrutia holds on by 7/100ths of a second to grab that second position. Kyle Kaiser certainly charging. A career best finish for Ryan Norman as he comes home in 4th. Juan Pedrahita finishes 5th. Nico Jimenez 6th. Neil Albarico 7th. Shelby Blackstock is 8th. Dalton Kellett will come home in the 9th position. Zachary Clayman DeMello finishes 10th. Aaron Telitz is 11th. Colton Herta spun on that last lap, never lost a position to Garth Rickards, and based on Nico DePero pulling in, actually gained a spot. On a lap that he spun, Herta will finish 12th. Rickards is 13th, and DePero, man, I'm not sure what happened to that car in the final lap, but he had to come to pit lane and will finish in the 14th position. Davey Hamilton, though, boy, for Mateus Lace, though, to dominate, leading all 20 laps. Didn't put a wheel wrong all day long. And you know, Dave and Jake talked about it. For some drivers, when you like a racetrack, it just seems like you perform really well there. And boy, he was absolutely perfect today.
Pretty amazing, and no pressure at all. I mean, he, from the green flag to the checkered, he checked right out with a 6-second lead gap between him and second place. So he figured this place out very quickly, very confident. By the way, he starts outside of the front row tomorrow.
And how about this, Davey? The points at the end of this day, Kyle Kaiser maintains the points lead with 174 points based on a good third-place finish. But Laced moves all the way to second in the championship with the win. Nico Jamin nipping at his heels, just 1 point back. The guys like Herta and Tielitz, boy, they took a big hit. But all of a sudden, Laced, with these back-to-back wins at Indy and Road America, he's got that Garland team in a position to win a second straight championship.
That's right.